Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to the Wrestle podcast. This is an impromptu review of Reach Wrestling's Night 2 of Unit 10, or from Unit 10, doesn't matter how you want to look at it. An interesting night of independent wrestling. Of course, British wrestling is at a serious premium right now. Just as a little heads up, because I'm a little bit sick and tired of my DMs lighting up with angry marks. This podcast is uncensored, unedited. We swear, we give honest opinions, we don't bullshit you, we are nice to you. If you are nice to us, we show respect, but at the same time, we are not afraid to tell people what we think. If that offends you, if you're looking for something that's uber positive and isn't going to upset you and is uber left, you're in the wrong place. Simple as that. So, sling your feckin' hook and let me get down to business with Night 2 of Reach Wrestling from Unit 10. 8-man tournament starts this week to decide a number 1 contender for the Reach Academy Championship, which is currently held by our glorious champion, the man who will no doubt replace Henry Cavill as Superman in the forthcoming DC universe, Joey 7. First match, quarter-final stage, of course. Blake Harrison versus Jordan Sparks. Dare I say, Mr. Harrison, that you are becoming... oh, it hurts me a little bit to say it, but you are slowly becoming one of my favourite watches, at least on this series of shows. This was an excellent match. Blake Harrison versus Jordan Sparks. Now, Jordan Sparks is clearly being hyped up as the next big thing from Reach Wrestling. He's and don't get me wrong, he's excellent, very talented. But there's quite a few guys who seem to be coming through. And what I like about this is you're getting to see a really good combination of seasoned professionals, veterans. I use that term loosely because, for me, veterans is something like Chris Jericho who's been around 30 years. And obviously, there's nobody around here who's been able to do that. But you've got a good blend, nonetheless. Good professionals, but also a lot of blossoming and exciting academy talents. So I like this match. Thought this was a great opener. Jordan Sparks, infinitely more exciting and more interesting as a singles wrestler. Last week I thought it was a decent debut, obviously in that tag match alongside Amadeus against Blake Harrison and Xander Gray. And Xander Gray, of course, was at ringside in his wrestling gear. Although you wouldn't know it because he was wearing a shirt and jeans, which is what he wrestled in last week. But he's very handsome, so we'll let him off. Blake Harrison, really good. Really good. This match, for me, proved that both of these guys should be wrestling singles more than tag. Nothing against their tag partners, because they're obviously very talented as well. I'm a big fan of Xander Gray, as anyone knows. But for me, Blake Harrison's kind of... I like his gangly appearance. I like that. And I like his shit-eating face. I appreciate heel work. I appreciate good heel work. Blake Harrison, as soon as he comes out, you immediately think, this guy's a bit of a dickhead. And that's good. That's good. Run with what you have. And when he gets in the ring, it's actually quite good. Probably not nearly as good as he thinks he is. But all jokes aside, genuinely very talented. Normally, I take people to task if they do a lot of WWE or, mainstream maneuvers like signatures and finishes during the match. But something I like about Blake Harrison is how measured he is. He's very good in the ring. And he's very good at the psychology part of it, actually. Yeah, he's definitely improved so much from, the guy that I first saw. And even then, the first time I properly saw him was against Eddie Ryan when he came back from the Black and Brave Academy. An excellent match at CPW. And I thought, he's got a lot of potential. He looks like R2-D2, he's got a lot of potential. I'm just jealous, mate, because I couldn't afford gear like that, let's be honest. But... yeah, no, really good match. And he seems to be really good at being the building blocks for other guys as well. Jordan Sparks is obviously someone that people are going to talk about a lot. He looked much more fluid in this match, much more athletic, very crisp, this match. I was really impressed. I've just watched AEW Dynamite and it was heaving with botches, and I gotta say thank you to Reach Wrestling, because I was really angry because I thought AEW Dynamite was a bit shit this week, full of botches, full of mistakes, full of dumb, tacky, stupid wrestling in places. And this didn't have any of that. I have some critiques for this show, absolutely, like I do everything else, because as everybody knows, I'm a highly critical and over-the-top twat. But you'll deal with that if you're a fan of the Wrestle Plug, and if not, why are you fucking listening? Simple as. But yeah, no, I just really appreciated this. It was nice to get back down to the meat and potatoes of proper wrestling. Like the Deep Six, love the Hammerlock DDT, particularly enjoyed your Buckshot Lariat, which I know that you're a big fan of. I've heard many wrestlers tell me that you like practicing this move, and it shows. But it's a good move. Why not? Why not? Hey, if you see anything in wrestling that's really good, chances are it's been stolen from something else. That's just the way it is. And if you're going to steal it, make sure you do it well. And Blake Harrison most certainly does that. Sparks gets the win, though, with a... I don't know what you call it. I don't know. A spark for the imagination. No idea, mate. You come up with the names. That's not my forte. But he hit him with a kind of stroke-like maneuver. And by that, I don't mean that he was doing nefarious things with Blake Harrison. He hit him with what was very similar to the Miz's finisher, the skull-crushing finale, in a lot of ways, except he didn't double underhook. He just kind of sort of went for it, kind of like a face-buster sort of thing. Not my cup of tea, but... that's fine. I think he should have finished with that fantastic flipping net breaker, kind of like an inverted blockbuster, buff blockbuster kind of thing. Really, that was sick. That was very cool. That was the move of the match for me. But all in all, great match, great opener, just the kind of thing you want to set the tone. Jason King versus another one of your bring your child to work scheme guys. Last week they had some guy on commentary who was, well, should I say backstage interviewer, who was awful and tiny and... kind of looked like he was doing some work experience for his year 10 mock exams. Again though, as much as I take the piss, Dom, don't like that name, by the way. That's Dom. Great, thanks. What, of Dick and Dom? No idea. He's wrestling Jason King, but the one thing I will say is very good wrestler. And Dom, while I was watching him, he's very small. Okay, and some people might remember that he's the little guy who got shit-canned by Joel Redman in a impromptu title match, kind of like an open challenge, and, Joel Redman sort of, taking the piss, obviously not taking things very seriously, dismantled this poor young man, as he should, because Joel Redman is a specimen and a monster at that. But, while I was watching this, I realised that Reach has a lot, particularly in the academy, but overall, a lot of very good smaller statured wrestlers, and I would love to see a gender friendly, and intergender if you will, title belt for cruiserweights. I think you've got more than enough guys to do it. I like the academy title, don't get me wrong. It would be quite cool to have an academy cruiserweight title, because from what I can tell, the majority of these small guys are working predominantly from academy shows right now. But you've got so many guys who have the potential to be involved in that. You've got Dom, you've got Jordan Sparks. There's a lot of other guys coming through. Lucky, I think, could definitely classify as that. He doesn't exactly look like a monster. Even someone like Vinny Clay, even though he's busy causing hassle. I think it would be a good idea. Nonetheless, that's just me spitballing, and I'm sure Grayson and Jason will tell me to fuck off, and that's fine too. Speaking of Jason, he went over. Poor Dom here. But I really enjoyed this match again, and Jason King is another person who's really impressed me. It's funny, I thought I was going to watch this, and I was going to wax lyrical about how amazing all their academy stars are, and they already know that. I've had most of them on the podcast. They know that they're fucking amazing. They know that I love them dearly, and they're all beautiful and sexy and ridiculously talented and all disgustingly better than me in every sense, which is fine. But I'm not bitter whatsoever. I've wasted my life. But at the same time, Jason King is a guy who I've always enjoyed. He's very charismatic. Kayfabe Buster, if we can shout at Kayfabe for a moment. He's very cool. Really nice guy. Life and soul to pie. And a real credit to the way this company's run. As is Grayson. I love them because there's a very different dynamic from them. And I really enjoy that. That's not to say that they can't, be a pair of shit eaters at times, as all wrestlers can. But I love this. And I love this kind of transition that Jason King's making. A little bit more serious, a little bit more menacing, actually. He's like, look, I'm not here to do funny stuff anymore. I'm not here to fucking be a stupid Disney star for you. I'm here to make these people tap out. I'm here to punish them. Like the fact he's using a Dragon Sleeper, kind of like a really nasty, cranked on Dragon Sleeper as his finisher after he hits the ground jewels. Really nice. Always nice when a wrestler's got more than one weapon in his locker. Sometimes with wrestlers, it always feels like they've got to build to that one thing, and then once they've used that, shit. Jason King really building up some weapons. And again, it's the little things that he does. You know, like face washing when he goes for a pin, moving the arm across the neck to make it more difficult for somebody to kick out. Those little things are very important. And when you watch Jason King, you'd be forgiven for thinking, here's a guy who's obviously been wrestling 20, 30 years. That's not actually the case. As far as I know, Jason King, he's been wrestling a decent amount of time, but not nearly as long as you'd expect. Like, these are the kind of things you expect from the super veterans. You know, guys who've been doing it 20, 25 years. These are the kind of things I expect to see from a Doug Williams, a Trent Seven. And yet, you know, Jason King applying himself very well. Dom had a good effort despite his size. King wins, Crown Jewels, Dragon Sleeper, very nice stuff. Victor Brady. This is where you need to... I don't want to sound like an absolute bellend, but I'm going to anyway. I'm really good at graphic design. I'm really good at making what I would like to think professional grade material at a decent and affordable price. I pride myself on it. Aaron Nix Design. You can follow me on Facebook and on Twitter. Something that I really pride myself on is being able to make high quality graphics, videos, whatever it may be, not only making them as good as they can, but also making them affordable. Because I believe that in this market, everyone should be able to afford good graphics and stuff like that. Now, this wasn't fucking terrible, but I really wish Steve was here, because he would have loved this. I can't wait to hear what Steve thinks when he eventually catches up with this, as he's in the throes of fatherhood. Victor Brady, from what I can tell, is a rather large version of one of the Briscoe brothers. Big beard, which I appreciate, don't get me wrong. I'm bold, got a big beard, always got time for that. But according to this promo, he likes to mill around in your back garden, possibly hanging out in your shed. I know what they're trying to go for. You know, oh, he's dark and he's menacing and he's broody and he's Bray Wyatt. Too cheesy. Way too cheesy for my liking. And a lot of that comes down to the way it was shot and the graphics as well. Just looked very low rent, very, you know, not my cup of tea personally. That being said, excited to see what the guy can do. Because if there's one thing that Reach doesn't have much of, it's a evil, maniacal, menacing aspect. You know, it doesn't have a fiend-like character of that kind of notion. It's got, you know, Vinny Clay, but he's more like, you know, with all due respect, he's more of a Dick Dastardly kind of approach. But don't get me wrong, love wacky races, mate. And anyone who doesn't like wacky races can get the fuck out of here. But for me, this promo was just more amusing. I audibly laughed when I watched it. I did. I'm sorry. I should have been like, oh, the chills, but I thought it was hilarious. To be honest, Victor Brady looks like he could be related to me, which is quite alarming. But hey, it is what it is. Excited to see what he can do nonetheless. Hopefully the promos can be tuned in. But just saying, lads, I do offer very affordable and decent graphics. So if you want somebody just to jazz it up just a little bit, just saying. That was also the case with the cam work and the production. Don't get me wrong, it's very good for what it is. You know, and during one of the matches, there was like a video in video kind of thing, like picture in picture, and that was a really cool idea. But it just needs that little bit of extra jazz, razzmatazz. And I know they're gonna say, don't take it so fucking seriously, but you know, I'm here to review this. I'm not here to suck people's dicks. So, you know, for me, just a little bit of polishing here and there, but I'm sure the guys know that anyway. And I appreciate it is COVID-19. It is a pandemic. Everyone's on a budget. Trust me, I'm on a fucking budget. I've been close to living out of my car for the last year. You know, I understand how difficult it is to make ends meet. Trust me, I fucking know. I just don't rant on about it all the time on my social media because you guys have got better things to do, which hopefully will be listening to this review. But yeah, good match. Great second quarter final. Now, this is one that really jumped out at me. Danny Boy Johnson versus Lucky. I said last week that I like the look of Lucky. Haven't seen Danny Boy Johnson. Don't know if this is his debut or not. I know they were saying that he's part of the new crop of guys. If this is a guy who's only been wrestling for a few months, fuck me. Colour me impressed, mate. I like Danny Boy Johnson. Love the singlet. Love the look. Love the long hair. Again, another really good, you know, sort of shit-eating him. He's got that grin on his face like, I'm clearly better than you. Love that. Love that. You know, I love smug twats. Probably because I am one. But I really enjoyed it. And I really like Lucky, actually. I really like the look of him. If I had a critique, and obviously it's so early, so I can't really. This isn't really a critique. This is something I'm hoping to see down the line. A little bit more in-ring character, maybe a little bit more talking, a little bit more in-ring psychology, but that'll come. That will obviously come. But I really enjoyed this. Thought this was really good. Lucky again. You know, he's a guy. Obviously, he had a singles match last week with Jason King, and looked really good in that, I thought. And he looked great here. From the get-go, you know what you're going to get from him. And he does it smoothly. Again, another guy who should be in that cruiserweight kind of division for me. You know, immediately comes up with a nip up into the headlock takedown. Really nice stuff. Really smooth. Love the fall-away slam as well. By Danny Boy. Like him. Reminds me a little bit of Bull Dempsey from NXT. Just a kind of, and for a more modern version, a little bit like Otis, actually. Like a more serious Otis. You know, a less mentally astute, or a less mentally incapable Otis, should I say. What I'm trying to say is, you have it, you know, there's a little bit more going on upstairs than there may be with Otis's character. That's not to say I don't love Otis. But a good match. Crashing into each other. Some good high-octane offense. Some good hard-hitting offense as well. And I really like the amount of character that Danny Boy Johnson showed. I think, particularly when you know, someone like Lucky, who is more wrestling based than he is character based, it's really good when he's in there with someone like Danny Boy Johnson, because, you know, Danny Boy can take the load, so to speak, phrasing, for the more character driven assets in a match. And I enjoyed that. I really did. I noticed Mr. Gilbert was the referee for this. You're starting to remind me of a haphazard Earl Hebner, sir. It's kind of a backhanded compliment. He's very good. He's big as well. I don't know if you've ever seen The Real Man's Man, and I'll be the judge of that, sunshine, because I've seen William Regal many a time. But he's very haphazard as a referee. A little part of me enjoys it. It's kind of like a guilty pleasure of mine. He's so clueless, and obviously I'm sure that's, you know, for the cameras and whatever, but I like it because he's just like, I'm the referee, you'll respect the referee, I'm a gentleman, and he just totally misses like everything that's going on around him, like all of it. It's brilliant. It's kind of like, to be a referee at Reach, you've got to be a little bit haphazard and a little bit mental. It kind of works for me. I don't know why, but I'm entertained by your refs, Reach. Good job. Honestly, I need a smile, because it's been a really hard time for a lot of us, myself included, and I needed that. I needed that smile. So, well done, Mr. Gilbert. I very much appreciate it. Or Gilbert. I don't know how it's pronounced. Giles Gilbert is what I'm going to go with, although someone said it was Giles. So, either way, I apologise. I'm sure you will tweet me, because you are one of the first people to always tweet. And can I just say as well, really fucking appreciate that. It's always lovely to see some of these wrestlers chipping in, bothering, because they don't have to retweet this. They don't have to share it if they don't like it. They could just all dislike the video and tell me to fuck off, and that's absolutely fine. That's their prerogative. That's their obligation, so to speak. And a lot of them are kind enough to share things, and, you know, some of the fans are as well. So I appreciate people getting involved. I'd just like to say, as far as the cam work and that goes, I actually got it wrong. It wasn't Rick Smith Photography who's been doing this. It's Omega Luke, who I know quite well, actually. I've seen some of your work online. Some really good stuff, man. And doing a really good job, actually, I think. I don't know if you're editing it. I'm assuming you are. If you are, great job, man. Really, really good. From somebody who does a lot of video editing myself, studied it at university and college, I really appreciate it. Really got a lot of time for that. So, well done, man. You're doing a really good job. And from what I hear, you're doing it on a, you know, on a very limited basis in terms of, like, budget and knowledge. So, gotta give you credit for that. Really have. As far as the commentary team goes, it's not my cup of tea. They're obviously very good at what they do. Just not my cup of tea. Sorry, lads. Don't get me wrong, I love the voice. Very cool guy, but yeah, I don't know. I think that it's a little bit too... I can't believe I'm saying this. A little bit too over the top for my tastes. But they are still quite good at what they do, and they get the story across. And, you know, I'm not looking for JR and King circa 1997. So they do a good job. Do you know what I think? I think it's because Vinny Clay isn't on comms, and he's normally on comms, and he really adds the colour to it, and I think it lacks a little bit of colour. That's it. But, you know, still doing a great job. I'm not shitting on them by any means. Although I'm sure they'll send me an angry tweet or two. So yeah, Lucky wins with a, being generous, a very shady looking Trouble in Paradise kick. Looks like he kind of missed the connection, whatever it is. It's fine, mate. Everyone botches, so I'm not going to lay into it too much over that. But yeah, Lucky winning. Not a problem with that. Interesting to see where that goes. Excited for him in the semi-finals. Think he's got a good amount of good amount of potential. Really excited to see what the kid can do. Josh Knott's outside. I think this was filmed after the first one. Kayfabe. Yeah, Josh Knott doesn't have a top on. He's just walking around in the rain and the cold, and he chastises Grayson Reeves and says, No, you beating me in a singles match, that doesn't mean anything. I asked for a tag team title opportunity, so I want a tag match to prove myself. Which is how we get into our co-main event, or the penultimate match of the night, which of course was the tag match that they had hyped up, the intergender tag team match. The highlight for me was Josh saying that... Sorry, I thought it was really funny. He just kind of shouts at Grace. He's like, that's the only clothes I've got. It's like, brilliant. I know exactly how you feel. I have been homeless. I really appreciate that. I was like, yeah, fair. Absolutely fair. No idea why Grayson Reeves locked him in to Unit 10. Surely he'd given him more ring time. Surely he could, jeopardise the situation. Maybe that's why things might have backfired. We don't know. We'll find out in a moment. Spoiler alert. Honestly, if you haven't watched it by now, for fuck's sake, what are you doing? Go to Reach Wrestling and watch their shows. They're free. Free wrestling. Honestly, you people annoy me sometimes. And by you people, I mean people who don't watch Reach Wrestling. Fuck you people. So yeah, that kind of helps, add to the storyline. Max Wilson versus Amadeus. Exciting. Very exciting. Love Max Wilson. Really, really like him. Said this before. Every interview I've had, whether that be PJ Jones, Joel Redman, we've had a lot of really great talents on this podcast. Joey Seven as well. And they all mention Max. They all talk about this kid, about how he could be the next big thing. This is a guy who, like I said last week, I believe he's been to the Lance Storm Academy. Taking yourself out of your own country, out of your comfort zone, to go and learn and become a better wrestler. That takes a lot of balls, a lot of chutzpah, as they like to say. I appreciate that. And his match with Amadeus, I wasn't so hot on Amadeus, not because I think he's a bad wrestler. I didn't get to see enough of him in that tag match last week. Again, Amadeus, much better as a singles wrestler. Love the all-white gear. Reminded me a little bit, with the long hair and that, of a very young, sprightly Brian Kendrick. Or Spanky, as he was called on the indies. Don't know if you want the nickname Spanky or not, but hopefully that'll stick. Sorry, mate. But no, I liked it. Good look. Great match. The work rate, the smoothness, the professionalism. And also, I love it because Max Wilson, when he comes out, I'm thinking this is the company's kind of Kurt Angle, if you know what I mean. He feels like that. He's the good all-rounder. He's got good in-ring psychology. He's clearly a great wrestler. He's in great nick. Everything about him screams professional. Really good. But then he'll also go for the shit-eating wins, the cheeky heel bastard wins. He wins this match using the ropes again. I like that. Also, for fuck's sake, Gilbert. I'm just going to call you Gilbert from now on, like some affectionate bear. Because he is. He's just a big, lovely bear, and he bless him. Come on, how did you not? He was literally right there in front of you, bruv. Like, that's why I'm saying the El Hebner thing, like, just utterly blind to the whole scenario. But still, good end to the match. Really appreciated it. Good match. Loving Max Wilson. Really, fastly becoming one of my favourite wrestlers. Really enjoy his kind of work. And I liked Amadeus in this outing. And I'm curious to see what they're going to do with him later down the line. Now, I thought this was going to be the main event. Turns out it wasn't. Because the other match... Maybe I missed it because I don't spend as much time on social media because, frankly, it's fucking depressing. But I didn't see the main event advertised in any place, which is fine. It's absolutely fine. I personally would have, knowing what we got to see. But the intergender tag match was the penultimate match of the night. LA Taylor tagging up with Josh Knott against Grayson Reeves and Aaron Cruce's favourite wrestler, Echo Reed. Sorry, Aaron. He's going to be furious when he hears it. Man. I mean, I've seen other podcasters and whatnot talking, acting as if they've only just seen LA Taylor. I don't want to be one of those people who's like, called it, because that's fucking annoying. But from the get-go, it's been very clear. And I'd like to think I've been on a bandwagon since day one when it comes to LA Taylor. Just honestly, I don't want to sound like a fancy or anything because people are going to be and taking the piss. And also, I don't want to blow smoke up her ass because I know that there's a lot more to learn, there's a lot more to achieve And, and we always grow. Doesn't matter how good we are in this business, we always get better, we always grow. But man, when you look at LA Taylor, it's like somebody had said, if I'd sat down, maybe my little sister or whatever, or one of my friends who, I've got, the guys I train with, a lot of them play WWE 2K. If I said to them, I want you to sit down and create the perfect wrestler on the creator wrestler mode, the perfect specimen of a female wrestler, that's what I think it would look like. That's my idea of what an amazing women's wrestler looks like. And don't get me wrong, Echo Reed is fucking amazing. I love Echo Reed. Got all the time in the world for their women's division. Honestly, for my money, the best in all of British wrestling. There, I said it. I absolutely said it. I think they've got the best women's division going. I really do. And most of it, we're talking about, well, pretty much all of it, we're talking about an academy. So that speaks volumes about it. We haven't even had a chance to see Aurora yet. This show needs more Aurora, just saying. So hopefully we'll get at least a look, a glimpse at the wonder that is the Aurora of wrestling. But man, LA Taylor and Echo Reed are fucking awesome. And, there's a reason why everyone's talking about LA Taylor. She's got the look. She's just got the presence. Everything about her. The scowl, by the way, is fucking awesome. The way she scowls at her. Just like, also, I noticed that her and Josh Knott wearing bandanas around the right knee. Now, this is a massive reach on my behalf. Hey, wordplay. I apologise. It's, to be fair, cut me some slack. It's 4:45 in the morning. I saw these bandanas around their knees. I'm going to go out on a massive limb and say that's to do with LA Taylor, because obviously her name, LA, Los Angeles, I'm sure that's not what it stands for. We know that's not what it stands for, but LA is Los Angeles as well. And in Los Angeles, very famous for its gangs, the Crips always wear a red bandana, I believe it's red, around their right knee. I'm sure that's got nothing to do with it. I'm not saying that LA Taylor is related to one of the most violent and aggressive gangs in the west coast of America, but you never know with a scowl like that. You never know. She certainly looks like she'll fuck your shit up. Just saying. But yeah, I liked it, and I love this tag team, Josh Knott and LA Taylor. I would happily see a lot more of this. And because what's cool about this, right? They didn't cop out. They didn't go for the WWE thing where it was like, oh, when the woman tags in, the other woman must tag in. I know a lot of people, including people who work for Reach, former champions, have said they don't like intergender wrestling. I do, just because it's wrestling. I know it's a work, so to speak, and shit happens, and why shouldn't a woman have the opportunity to beat up a man? So it's this mentality of like, oh, a woman could never beat up a man. Really? Go and speak to Ronda Rousey and then come back and let me know how your face feels afterwards, if there is any of it left. And that, of course, goes for most women's MMA fighters and some of these incredible athletes that are out there. But I love this, Men mixing up with the women. Good stuff. Really appreciated this match, actually. I absolutely loved Josh Knott in this match. From an in-ring work standpoint, you can see why he's another guy that everyone has said to me, Josh should be doing more. Josh should be working here. Josh should be working there. And for whatever reason, he's not. But good news for me, because I get to see him through on YouTube. What a wrestler Josh Knott is. What a character as well. And do you know what's lovely about him? He doesn't do 5,000 things. It's not like he's a great wrestler because he does like literally every technical move in the book. He will just work and work well and with such a methodical pace. And you'd be forgiven when you're looking at him and thinking, might be one of the Godwins here, a bit of a slow worker in there. Do you know who he reminds me of? Trevor Murdoch. Really reminds me of Trevor Murdoch. And honestly, I would love to see Josh Knott wrestling in the NWA, the National Wrestling Alliance, because he's got that kind of look. I'll tell you what, if Josh Knott was wrestling in like the 70s and 80s, I think he'd be quite big. I do. I think they love him. There's a little bit of Dusty Rhodes in there. There's a little bit of, Trevor Murdoch, like I say. There's just something about him, that kind of big country. It just works. And it's so simple as well. Not everything in wrestling needs to be unbelievably convoluted. And the match worked really well. You know, it's clear that Grayson obviously has got a lot of pride, particularly in Echo Reed. I know that he's close with all of his trainees, but, you know, there was a real, like, big brother, little sister kind of vibe about it. It was very sweet in a way. That's the thing about Echo Reed. She's very sweet. She's very cute. She's very adorable. And that plays in so well to the audience, because you can't help but root for someone like that. You know, especially when she's getting beaten up by that big, nasty LA Taylor, you know, who's scowling at you and telling you to shut up. It's such a simple diagram for how to do good wrestling, and it works so well. This right here is a blueprint for how you can do wrestling with very little. You don't need all the bells and whistles. You don't need massive pyros and, you know, people constantly chanting, "This is awesome." This is wrestling at its finest. None of this stupid nonsense, none of this over-the-top hot garbage crap, like, just simple, bare bones, meat and potato wrestling. That's what this match was, and it was good. It was very good. It was easy on the eye, and I appreciated it. Really good match. And I also am very thankful that Josh Knott got the win, albeit by nefarious means. Poor old Echo gets knocked off the apron. Takes a savage looking bump, or at least on the camera it looked quite savage. You know, she sort of stacks on the outside, and Grayson Reeves, it's kind of your fault, mate, to be honest. You weren't the one who knocked her off. I don't want to hear excuses about how you were whipped in there. It's just incompetence on your level is what it is. I expect better from my B-Tech Chris Hero. I expect better. I love you, really. Please don't kill me. But you know, Josh Knott gets the win, obviously nefariously, and it's nice. You know, Josh Knott should have an opportunity, if not, should still be a tag team champion. I kind of like the idea of him and LA Taylor as tag team champions. That sends a great message, and also, what a great look for your company, particularly for fans coming in the door, because obviously once COVID pisses off, you're going to have a lot of fans who are desperate to get out and do things, and particularly the wrestling fans are going to be desperate to get out, and I think, I'm fairly positive, which is not like me, that there will be a lot of new fans coming in the doors, particularly at Reach, who are clearly streets ahead of everyone else down that region in the southwest. With all due respect to the other companies who I do like, they haven't got anything on Reach. They just haven't. Sorry. You know, I told you, we say it how it is. And if you're looking in that Cornwall Devon area, Reach rules the roost. It just does. Let me know, you know, when your product gets up to snuff and, you know, is on the same level as this. And then I will listen. Until then, for me, this is the predominant place to see wrestling. And of course, when they come in the doors, how cool would it be to be like, yeah, our women, you know, one of our women is a tag team champion. Not, you know, an intergender tag team champion. Not a, you know, don't qualify it. That's the other thing as well that I fucking adore about Reach. And that must be great. And I imagine for any women listening, it must be quite for them. I'm not going to speak for you. You're welcome to let us know what you think, of course. And obviously, I encourage people, please like, subscribe, leave comments down below if you like the show. Let us know what you'd like to hear. And also, let us know what you think of the shows. Contact us. Let us know if you've seen it. You know, don't hesitate to message us, because I'd love to read out your thoughts and your comments and give you a shout out as well. But I reckon, from a female perspective, it must be quite empowering, quite awesome to know that this company doesn't sort of say, oh, well, here's your token intergender championship. Oh, the women will tag the women. No, everyone's on a playing field here, a level playing field. There is no, you know, there's not really a gender here. There's just wrestlers. You're either good or you're not good enough to be on the show. And I really appreciate that. It's very simple. Wrestling can be cutthroat like that, but they do it the right way. They do it the professional way, which, God forbid, is really lacking. Especially right now when you consider what's going on. So, yeah, good match. Hopefully LA Taylor and Josh Knott will be tagging up a lot more down the line, because I really liked it, really enjoyed it. And I think that's an absolutely invaluable working experience moment for LA Taylor as well. You know, getting to work with someone like Josh Knott, working around guys like that, you're going to learn, especially being opposite Grayson as well. And they've got the opportunity there. And that's the great thing about Reach, is they're affording all their academy graduates an opportunity to learn from the best. Not from a load of scrubs, from the best. You know, you see their seminars, guys like Luke Phoenix coming in and stuff like that. Not only that, you've got the astonishing knowledge from the main roster to draw off. Guys like Yeston Reese constantly coming down. Joel Redman is getting involved. Eddie Ryan, PJ Jones. The list is endless. These are all guys, these are all people who know what they're doing. And these are all people who can help elevate you to that next level. Joel Redman, you know, probably the cream of the crop for me. His quality of work speaks for itself. So good on you, Reach, for looking after your academy graduates properly, because there's a lot of academies around the country that don't fucking do their job properly. I could name a few, I'm not going to, but simply put, Reach deserves a lot of love. It deserves your eyeballs, it deserves your credit for that alone. Backstage, Amadeus, looking quite dejected as he's looking for his bag for a bag of Maltesers, which, alas, was not there. He's interrupted by Blake Harrison and Xander Gray, who mock him rather flaccidly, if I'm being honest. Whatever, is what it is. Setting up a tag match. Interested to see who Amadeus has as a partner, because obviously you won't have Jordan Sparks, because Jordan Sparks has moved on to the semi-finals of the tournament to crown a new number one contender for the Academy Championship. And that Academy Championship was on the line in the main event, as Joey 7 defended against the other half of Monsters of Men, Redwood. Ooh, saucy. Haven't seen Redwood wrestle yet. Have seen Silverback wrestle, been on the same show as Silverback. Love my boy Silverback. So I'm very excited. Now, I was very curious how this dynamic would work. I don't think people appreciate how big Redwood is. And Joey 7, right? It's so frustrating. He's so good at everything. God damn it, I hate you. I love you, but I hate you. I love you and I hate you. I can't work it out. You're like Marmite, but I must have more of it. Slightly homoerotic, but I apologise nonetheless. Joey 7 versus Redwood. What people don't realise is how big Redwood is. And Joey 7, like I said, he's actually really big himself. He is not a small man. So seeing that footage doesn't do it justice. You have to actually go up to Silverback and Redwood. And this is coming from a guy who's 6'3" and 350 pounds. Okay? I'm a big lad. You know, rotund would probably be a much better word for it, although I do work out very, very hard. So stop ripping the shit out of me, please, because I get a lot of that in my DMs as well. Fuck's sake. You don't appreciate how big they are until you're actually near them and you think, holy shit. The first time I saw Redwood, I clocked him outside Reach Wrestling 2. He was in the queue. And he was sort of walking around and he was standing there chatting to a few people. Obviously, I assume he was already an academy guy then. I think he was quite early doors, but either way, you know, he's out there, and literally, I was like, holy shit, like, because he's just like, he is a Redwood. You think fucking size of him, and he comes sauntering over so nicely when I'm chatting to Silverback, and he's like, oh, I saw you, and I thought, oh, he's got to be a wrestler, and I'm standing like, hello, please don't eat me, because he's huge, lovely bloke, until he gets in the ring, and then it's game face time, baby. Very excited to see what Redwood could do, because, like I say, I haven't seen him wrestle. I've seen Joey 7 many times now, and obviously everyone knows what I think of Joey 7. I think he's genuinely one of the coolest guys in wrestling, one of the nicest guys in wrestling, just a real fucking credit to British wrestling at a time when it badly needs an injection of good people, and good, strong honesty. It's what it needs, which is why we don't bullshit here either. You know, I can't be bothered with that. There are too many people being fake, being pretentious, pretending that everything's all fine, everything's all rosy. Nah, if something's shit, I'll tell you it's shit. But at the same time, and on the flip side, if something deserves your eyeballs, I will tell you. And that's why every single time I watch Reach, I feel like people should be watching it. I don't get paid to hype Reach Wrestling, and I don't get to see that many of their shows when we are able to attend, just because of the sheer, you know, the time frame of getting down there. I make the effort when I can. And, you know, I'm not here to blow smoke at them. I don't give a shit. You know, from my perspective, I don't care what Jason and Grayson's outlay is. I don't care what kind of money they're making or whatever it may be. It's none of my fucking business. What I do care about is good entertainment and honest entertainment. And they've been nothing but good to me. And I always look after people who look after me. It's as simple as that, and that's why I'll hype this train to the death. And if you're still not checking it out, well, frankly, you need a slap. Now then, Joey 7 versus Redwood. Not my favourite Joey 7 match. I hate to say it. Oh, it hurts me to say that. It was fine. There's nothing wrong with this match. It's a weird match, because I liked it, and I had fun watching it. But maybe it's because of the finish, but it left me wanting a little bit more. I wanted to see a little bit more. The one critique I probably do have is, and he'll still squash me like an ant, but Redwood, mate, stick your lines in a bit, bruv. So he gives Joey 7 a clothesline, and Joey 7, like a pro, gives it the old Rikishi fucking bump, you know, turns himself inside out, forward flips, triple carousel. He's like Eddie the Eagle out there, bruv, leaping like a salmon. And Redwood just kind of gives him the limp noodle arm, and it's not just you, mate. I give this to anyone who throws a shit of clothesline. Lay your fucking clothesline in. Come on, it's gonna hurt anyway, so just fucking put the meat in there. I like a person who throws a good line, mate, who lays it in, and I know you've got one in you. So next time you get an opportunity to wrestle for a championship, take his fucking head off. Sorry, Joey. This match had a very similar formula, as it should do, to the match from last week with Silverback and Joey, with Vinny Clay being nefarious and fucking fantastic distraction at ringside. I cannot express how good Vinny Clay is at his fucking job. Honestly, I see all these... I go to a lot of shows, at least, pre-pandemic, and my God, you see people who think they're good. They think they're good at talking, they think they're good at psychology, but ultimately you think, this guy's a bit of a clown, whatever, I'm not paying attention to him. Every time Vinny Clay does something, I'm fascinated. And if I was a kid, I'd be like, God, I fucking hate this guy. I'm too old to play along in that regard. When I go to shows, obviously, particularly if I've got kids with me or whatever, I'll just be like, hyping it up, trying to get them involved, because they're the lifeblood of everything that we do. And we should be encouraging the youth of today to really flourish. It's another thing I love about Reach. The amount of amazing young academy graduates that are coming through. They're giving an opportunity to youth, but they're also giving an opportunity to people of all ages. It's an equal opportunity machine, and I appreciate that, but there's a lot of great youth, and it's really exciting to know that the future of BritWres is in good hands if it does recover the way we hope it does. But yeah, something about Vinny Clay, man. Every time I see him, I think, this guy should be more. This guy should be everywhere. He should literally be... Honestly, if you're any kind of wrestling promoter, and you watch this show and you don't think, I need Vinny Clay on my show, I need him to manage one of my champions, I need him to be managing the bad guys, etc., etc., he really is starting to come across as Reach's Bobby the Brain Heenan. Do you remember Bobby the Brain Heenan way back when? I'm really dating myself here. He used to be the manager for so many different people. Pre-WWF as well, Mid-South, everything that went with that. But when he was in WWF predominantly, that's where people remember him. Even when he was alongside Gorilla Monsoon on commentary, he was a master of making you think, this guy legitimately doesn't like my heroes. This guy legitimately wants my favourite wrestler to crash and burn, and he's going to laugh in my face about it. And I get that vibe off of Vinny Clay. He makes you believe. A lot of that's to do with professional acting and the fact that he's gone out there and worked so hard at that, and he's done an amazing job from that aspect. But a lot of that is to do with just natural charisma, raw talent. It's got everything you want. Vinny Clay's been on the podcast as well, and frankly, if you haven't listened back to all our extensive interviews, don't know what to say to you. There are other podcasts that have interviewed Reach wrestling stars, and they've done a very good job of it, and I'm not throwing shade at them, but I like to think that our podcasts are just a little bit different to everybody else. I'm honest, and I ask different questions to people, and frankly, I'm not here to lick people's arseholes. So, yeah, check out more of Vinny Clay. Good match, solid. Joey 7 working over the left arm didn't really come to fruition much, which was a bit disappointing. Would have liked to have seen a little bit more from that, because he was working over Redwood's left arm for a lot. Redwood needs to do a better job of selling that as well, for me, if he's going to sell it. But for me, when I'm that big, I don't want to see you selling at all. I don't want to see you running the ropes. I don't want to see you doing anything but destroying people, mate. Because I love me meaty Hoss. Oh yes, everybody knows who listens to the Wrestle Blog on the regular that Aaron Nix loves meaty Hoss battles. And if you're big and you're a Hoss, then you are good in my books. Oh yes, Redwood has now attached himself to the Hoss Club. Congratulations, you are a brand new member of my fledgling Hoss Club. Brilliant, you're in good company, by the way. There's some good wrestlers in there. Miro, your own brother Silverback, of course. Loads of others as well. Test is in there as well, an alumni, a legend of the past. But I'm digressing and running off on a tangent because I'm ridiculously fucked off my head at this time in the morning, and I've still got to go down to the gym and edit this shit. So the title match obviously ends the same way. You all know that. Vinny Clay gets involved, hits Joey 7 with a crutch, and I love how everyone's suckered into it. They're all on Twitter right now going, oh, you fucking idiot, Vinny Clay, you cost him. I know what's going on here, Vinny. I know what you're up to. You're softening up the champ, ain't you? So that you can take advantage and pick the bones and man, I love it. Well, that's what I'm assuming you're doing. I'm just going to assume that I'm right in that disposition. I'm probably not, but it looks like he's picking the bones. If that's going to lead to a championship match, excellent, because Vinny Clay is a really good in-ring worker as well. A lot of people don't realise that. But I also know that Vinny would like to transition to entertainment-based wrestling a lot more as well. Same as me. I'd like to get involved in things like commentary and announcing and stuff of that nature. I feel that there's plenty more gasoline in the old man's tank, but not necessarily for taking a shit ton of bumps, although I have made it very clear that I would like to be retired by Silverback, and maybe you can just throw in Redwood and just make it a complete destruction, but that would be an awesome way to end my fledgling and frankly very underwhelming wrestling career. So you never know. But yeah, no, it was a good match. Joey 7 obviously wins by DQ. Yeah, I choose to see what could be going on here. I've seen some people on social media saying, don't get it, don't know what's happening. That's kind of the point, isn't it? Well, that's what I assume they're going for. So I'm curious to see how it turns out. Next week, I'm assuming is going to be the semi-finals of the 8-man tournament, which should be very, very good indeed. Looking forward to seeing what is going on. By next week, of course, I mean tomorrow, because you'll most likely listen to this, because I'm recording this on a ridiculously early o'clock on a Thursday morning. So yeah, you're probably going to check this out Thursday. Now, Reach Wrestling's Night 3 from Unit 10 will be tomorrow, if you're listening to this on Thursday. Basically, it'll be on Friday, okay? Sorry, I'm rambling a bit, but cut me some slack. It'll be on the 16th of October. It'll be on YouTube. You should be subscribed to YouTube, and if you hit the bell notification on Reach Wrestling's YouTube, then you will get a notification, a bell icon, you'll get a notification letting you know that they're going to premiere with a new video, and that's when you can sit down and chill out and watch it. But the great thing about having it on YouTube, another thing you got to commend them for, is the fact that people can go back and watch it whenever. AEW Dark does this. Quite a few companies have started doing this. Not enough for my liking. There should be more wrestling on YouTube, especially if you're a smaller or fledgling company. It's a great way to get your product out there. 2 dirty big thumbs up, Reach Wrestling. Congratulations. If you enjoyed this rather tangent-laden and elongated review of Reach Wrestling's Night 2, please like the video. Please share it with people, because I do work incredibly fucking hard. Incredibly hard trying to maintain my house and my life and my family and everything else, and dealing with everything that comes from being an independent artist and taking it on the chin and cracking on, and I still find time to churn out hours and hours of content for the Wrestle Plug. And I'm not saying that I want millions of people to check in, but if you do like it, hit a like, make sure you subscribe, hit the bell icon. We will endeavour to review everything we can of Reach. We've got an amazing backlog of podcasts as well. 470 recorded episodes of the Wrestle Plug on any audio format that you choose. Wherever you get your podcasts, you can find Wrestle Plug. And we've reviewed a lot of shows down there, not just Reach. Predominantly Reach, it has to be said, but we've also checked in with some of the old stuff from DWA and CPW and whatnot. But we love this wrestling scene. I love this wrestling scene. It's part of my heart and soul, to be honest. I think about all the good times I've had in wrestling, whether that be as a fledgling trainee or as a fan. The majority of them can at some point, at any point, whether it be because of this podcast or because of shows I've actually attended or people I've spoken to, can all be kind of centered back to the Southwest scene. So please give it your love. Please look after it, because it does feel like it's one of the last bastions of proper British independent wrestling. I've been Aaron X. Thank you very much for listening, and hopefully I'll catch all of you new fans for more content from the Wrestle Plug.